We have to make folks cry. We have to make women, mothers, reach for their handkerchief.
Advanced Cell Technology, Jerome Corporation, big technology companies are pursuing cloning, but they're pursuing therapeutic cloning through stem cell research. The problem these people present is that they're going to get people so upset about reproductive cloning. And I want to make one really important point in that, because I've talked to Jamie a lot on the phone, but I think before she met the aliens, cloning's about love.
Well, the passing of a loved one is one of the most painful experiences that we encounter in life. But efforts are already underway to give people a life beyond the grave, whether through holograms or AI-driven clones. Futurist Nicholas Babington is joining us with more on this month's edition of Future Friday. It almost sounds like an episode of Black Mirror.
Absolutely.
They've tackled this issue in that show. Companies have already been doing tours of actors who have passed, or performers who have passed, and you can go and see their concerts. But companies are now scanning actors?
Yeah. I mean,
there's
there's a big business in terms of the representation of actors and you know, producing new movies. And once that actor passes away, then that revenue stream's gone. So if we can keep them in perpetuity and we can keep their, you know, popularism around them going, then the money keeps rolling in. So it's very sort of self-centered in terms of the industry.
That is a fascinating concept.
Yeah.
There's also new research around and development around AI clones that have uploaded not just physicality, but personality as well?
Yeah, so people have been trying to download consciousness and personality for a long time now. A lot of companies are getting very well funded for this. And, you know, if you can capture the essence of the person and upload that personality either into an app or maybe into some kind of avatar, then maybe we can continue having a relationship with that person on an ongoing basis.
That is fascinating, but also frightening, I think, a little bit at the same time. What are some of the moral and ethical implications of these types of projects?
So if we lose someone, but then suddenly have a representation of them, then our grief is put on hold, which isn't very good for our mental health. And what's really interesting is as we get older, they stay the same. And they don't have an evolution of their personality, and they don't have an aging and a mellowing of their personality either. So we're actually in a bad position from a mental health perspective.
Because they will always be as we've sort of cloned them.
Yeah.
Interesting, fascinating, Nick. I'm always intrigued and slightly frightened every time you come to visit us. Thanks for being here today.
Okay, thank you.
We have to make folks cry. We have to make women, mothers, reach for their handkerchief.
L'atelier est convoqué par le tribunal de Fort Lauderdale. La scientifique doit enfin révéler sous serment où se trouve le supposé bébé clone Eve.
Vous jurez de dire toute la vérité, rien que la vérité.
J'ai commencé par cette question. Docteur Boisselier, où est le bébé? Et le docteur Boisselier n'a pas répondu. J'ai reposé la question, où est le bébé? Elle a dit, je refuse de répondre. À ce moment-là, le juge a dit, docteur Boisselier, vous êtes dans un tribunal, vous êtes obligé de répondre, où est le bébé?
Je veux que vous disiez à la Cour où est actuellement le bébé.
Le bébé n'est pas né aux États-Unis.
Je veux que vous disiez à la Cour où est actuellement le bébé.
D'accord, le bébé est en Israël.
Et l'endroit exact où est l'enfant, pourriez-vous le dire?
Je vous le dirais si je le savais, mais nous avons perdu contact et donc je ne sais pas où elle est actuellement. D'accord, le bébé est en Israël.
It is everywhere. Now, Clonaid, a company backed by a group called the Raelian Religious Movement, claims to have produced a human clone. But so far, there's been no evidence to prove that. But could that all change today?
I'm very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born.
Can that be true? Or is it some kind of twisted tale made up by a group of people calling themselves the Raelians? Late last year, Raelian Bishop Dr. Bridget Boisselier announced that a biotechnology company named Clonaid had done it. The Raelians believe that humans evolved from aliens through cloning. Cloning leads to eternal life. Their spiritual leader, 56-year-old former race car driver and journalist Rael, founded the organization after he allegedly was abducted by aliens in 1973. But many are suspect of their claims and are opposed to their practices.
Started when I was 5 years old, only I was memory repressed back then. When you're in REM sleep, they can just bring you there. Rapid eye movement, stage of sleep. That's how they do it. They call it a consciousness transfer.
They can transfer your consciousness into a clone at the cloning station if they have a clone of you.
You don't have to be born into it. You have to be semi-attractive or have some kind of a skill that they want to use or steal from you. When you don't know what it is, you think that it's your real body. I thought it was my real body, and I thought they were going to kill me. And they do that to a lot of people, give them fear of death. I wake up and I'm standing in the dirt of this arena.
Some people are drugged, so they think that it's a dream, or they're in the astral realm, the spirit realm. Depends on who you are, where you're from. That's what they tell you. And you don't wake up, so it's not a dream. This is how the Illuminati NWO works. They meet at the cloning station. When they go to sleep, they use it for their crazy stuff. You name it, they've done it. There's two different kinds of cloning. There's replication cloning, where it comes up as a baby, put the cells in, make the same person as a baby. There's duplication cloning as well, where they grow you in a big thick tank, fill it full of water. They agitate the tissue sample a certain amount of times, and it grows a fully formed duplicate of you within 5 months.
They said it's mostly maintenance. And it doesn't even cost that much. It's just they set it to growing, and then they have to have someone maintain the tank as it's growing.
They have to get like new bodies like I heard it was like every year, but I guess it's like every 2 years, and some people last longer.
The Dulce base has an entire floor devoted to cloning. In Area 51, underground, they have an entire floor devoted to cloning. A lot of the deep bases, they have an entire floor devoted to cloning. The cloning floor is the one that has the big auditorium and the seating and the arenas. They started doing it around 1945. It was all politicians at first, a government, world communications.
Then they got bored in these disposable bodies because it loses the novelty really fast.
So they started bringing in all these celebrities. All the mainstream artists and all the biggest political people and all the biggest royalties go to this place. They don't realize that it's a contract for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. If you ever have any children, they're included in the contract. They can kill you remotely from the cloning center. If they apply a constant state of pain to your clone, you'll die in real life.
It's a terrible, diabolical, nefarious place.
They make people think that they've been abducted by aliens. They have a set with a fake saucer. It's got a ramp leading up to it. It's small, and on the inside it's all decked out, and they clone people into the place, make them open up their eyes on the table, and they're surrounded by like these alien guys with fake masks on that are all going to like take turns on this person, and they freak out, and then they wake up the next morning, they think they've been abducted, and they have archives of abduction porn. These creatures are called the Vril.
They come up from underground, different spots all over the world.
These things have always been under us. These bloodline families, they're just lizard helpers, and lizards favored them in the past. They used to bring them up gold and gems from underground that they mined, and they would trade people gems and gold, and they would give them animals, children, all kinds of things, and just cart them down tunnels and cages. Some of these things, the Brotherhood of the Snake, Dragon Society and stuff, it's all about the lizards. They come up underneath the underground bases. The underground bases have connecting tunnels underneath of them, and they go way down deeper.
They need a a methane oxygen mix to breathe, and deep underground they got sulfur pools, I guess, that make this stuff.
There's 3 types.
There's a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Vril type 1.
The type 1s are covered in red diamond shaped scales. Vril type 1s are real dumb. Little dragons, those are the Vril type 1.
There's a type 2 that is not parasitic, but it's still vicious, nasty carnivorous. They're all carnivorous.
Vril type 2 are a little smarter.
And there's a type 3 that's 8 feet tall, has a real long neck, and looks like a gray alien.
And Vril type 3 run the previous 2 kinds.
Now, if Clonaid has really produced the human clone, where's the proof? We'll talk about those claims, and later we'll meet a mother who's counting on Clonaid to produce a clone of her daughter who died tragically a year ago. Now, Thomas Koenig and Mary Ellen Parent are both members of the Raelian movement, and Thomas is vice president of Clonaid. Now, Clonaid's CEO, Bridget Bosselier, made this announcement. Please, listen.
Very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. The parents are American citizen. The mother is 31. She is the one who has been cloned, and she carried her baby.
Now, thanks for being here, both of you. And I want to say we're going to try to provoke a healthy debate today and be objective about this. Now, Thomas, you know, the real debate now, after that announcement, I mean, that's an earth-shaking announcement. The debate and the questions from journalists worldwide, not just here in America, is where is the proof? Where is the baby?
We would like to provide the proof as quick and as soon as possible. You probably heard about what happened since we made the announcement. There has been this attorney in Florida asking for a guardian for the child. We've had the FDA, the SEC, different government agencies launching investigation. And that scared the parents a lot. You have to put yourself in the mind of a family who's been waiting for years, for many, many years, to have a baby. They're very happy the baby's here, but they're very concerned about what's happening right now, and they don't want to take any risk for the baby to be taken away. So we proceed as soon as possible, as soon as the family will feel safe, and then we'll go ahead.
I think, you know, the fears are legitimate, and I also think the questions are legitimate. This attorney in Florida has filed to be guardian of the child. Why? Why would he do that?
No, he hasn't filed for him to be guardian.
Oh.
He asked the juvenile court. It's going to be a hearing next week, and we don't want to go into specific details.
Mm-hmm.
But he would like to have a guardian appointed for the child, saying that the child's being exploited. And that's very funny because we don't show the child on TV saying, hey, here it is, and we don't exploit it. He also said if the child might have some problems, some physical problems, that's another reason why it should be have a guardian for it. And I hope that all people with handicapped children will write to Siegel and tell him this is really a big insult. How could you say, just in case the baby would have any problem, it should have a guardian? Would that mean that any parent having a handicapped child should be having the child taken away? How could they do that?
Which is truly unfair. If you had a Down syndrome baby or something, I guess the concern is that, you know, so far the sheep that was cloned rapidly aged and that there's been problems in the past with cloning. But no law I know exists on the books now that says just because you were successful in cloning a child, that child should be taken away by the state. If I were the parents, I would say, here's the child, here's a swab of the DNA, let's get it tested, it's our baby, we'll fight this lawyer.
Yes. And you're very correct, and we would be very happy to do things. You're saying there's no law against cloning. Perfect. Why has this attorney launched this lawsuit? Why did all the government agencies launch their actions? Why in South Korea?
Well, they have every right to investigate, you know, behind it, the actions,
There's nothing illegal. And put yourself, also look back in time. When Louisa Brown, the first test tube baby, was born, 25 years ago, we had exactly the same reaction. People didn't understand IVF, in vitro fertilization.
Right.
We had the same ethical concerns. People were saying it was dangerous. And the identity of Louisa Brown had to be kept secret for many, many years. And we see the same thing happen again with cloning. Now, we hope that people understand who can really benefit from the technology, and that's what the most important that we're going to talk about. When we talk about reproductive cloning, we talk about infertile couples, we talk about homosexual couples, we talk about people with AIDS who don't want to pass on the disease to their child nor to their partner. We talk about people who lost a child. And we talk about singles who don't want to have a partner and still like to have a child with their own genes. That's the people we talk about.
Huge amount of possibilities and
those
potential
people have a
here.
sincere interest,
Right.
and they're looking forward so much to this technology. And this is just reproductive human cloning. Let's talk about therapeutic human cloning. You have people in a wheelchair who will be able to walk again thanks to this technology. Are you going to tell them it's unethical, it shouldn't be done? That's ridiculous. And we just see the same reaction like anything new.
It's similar like the debate of stem cell research and stuff like that.
He was caught whispering to Boisselier. We have to make folks cry. We have to make women, mothers, reach for their handkerchiefs.
Let me ask you, Mary Ellen, you're a Raelian priest. Tell me a little bit about how you joined the movement, and tell me a little bit about Clonaid.
Yes, because it's two different things.
Right.
You have the Raelian movement, you have this company that is completely separate. And in the company, there is scientists. This is not the Raelian who just go there and try to make a clone. It is a professional scientists who are there and they know what they're doing. And I read the messages of His Holiness Rael in 1978. That's quite a long time ago. And when I read the book, I said, wow. Because I was Catholic, I was believing in God, and finally I couldn't understand who he was. Who is this guy, you know?
You were a Catholic?
Yes,
right.
I was raised Catholic. And I was very religious, and I keep on being religious, and we have a very high level of spirituality as a Raelian. But finally I couldn't understand that the people who created us, it's not just a big being sitting on a cloud with a magic stick in 6 days creating everything. Finally, those are people like us. It's in the Bible, the Elohim. It means those who came from the sky. It's Hebrew, and it's plural. And they created us on their image after their likeness. They're like us. They're human beings, but they're so advanced scientifically that what they can do is like a miracle
So
to
that's
us.
the Raelian philosophy, that a very gentle, sophisticated people from another planet came here. Now, we have a little bit of tape from Rael, and let's listen to this.
Right now, cloning is just the possibility to have a twin brother. Right now, what we can do, what is possible to do, and what I hope Dr. Sid will do, is to create a baby. The next step is when you can, through a process which does exist on the Elohim planet, and which will be discovered on Earth for sure, is what they call accelerated growth process. Accelerated growth process is to be able to create directly an adult from one of your cells. The third step, and this is the one the most interesting, is when you will be able to transfer your memory and personality directly in the individual you obtain through accelerated growth process. Then it's really yourself, with your memory, with your personality, in a new body.
Now, the last thing that he said is probably one of the most fascinating things, is that you could almost create immortality with this process, right?
You can.
Well, let's talk about that when we come back. We've got a lot to talk about here. There's so many aspects of this. And coming up next, we're going to meet a desperate mother who's been corresponding with Clonaid over the internet with the hope that it can bring back her deceased daughter to life. She says she can't wait to meet Thomas for the first time. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
There is such an empty when you lose a child you can't recover from. And have a twin of her would fill that. It would take a lot to replace in my heart. I don't think I can go on another day.
That was good, he says. Too bad the last phrase didn't get in. We have to make folks cry. We have to make women, mothers, reach for their handkerchief.
Washington Journal continues.
Well, we're going to continue our discussion of the concept of human cloning today. Joining us in our studio and testifying on the Hill today is Bridget Boisselier, who is scientific director for a private company called Clonaid. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Sure. Tell us first what Clonaid is and what the company is working on right now.
Okay, so Clonaid is a private company. We founded that 4 years ago, got the fundings to really have a lab last August. And so now we have 3 scientists working almost full-time in a lab here in the United States with the major goal for us to produce a human embryo by human cloning.
Why do you want to do it?
There are several reasons. The first one is that why am I doing it myself? It's just because I think I had to do it. 4 years ago, when I heard all the establishment saying this is so bad and all these things, I said I have to do it and show that this is only a baby, a little baby, the belated twin of an individual, and that's it. It's not a monster. It's not all what we have been hearing so many bad things about this baby, and. So we decided to do that 4 years ago. Now we are on the verge to have this first embryo.
And when do you suspect it will happen?
I don't want to be rushed into saying dates. What I'm saying is that we are in the process of doing it. We will check every possible defects before, so we'll need to make sure that the embryo is completely viable and before doing any implantation. So the soonest we could have an implantation is mid-April. It could be in a year from now because we want to make sure that this baby is completely and perfectly healthy.
Now, you're going to be testifying on Capitol Hill today.
Yes.
At a hearing that we will be covering on this issue. What are you going to say?
I'm going to talk about the babies. I'm going to talk about the parents to-be and the father of the baby who are trying to clone, and what are his motivation. And I will read a very moving letter from him to the congressman.
We have to make folks cry. We have to make women, mothers, reach for their handkerchief.
I will also talk about my motivation and how dedicated I am to this project, whether it's done here or abroad. We will have to move. If there is any bad decision in the Congress today or in the coming future, we will have to move, but we'll move. We will not quit the project.
Thank you. Thank you for C-SPAN, too. I would just like to say, you just used a word a moment ago. You used the word production. When we're talking about the recreation of human life, God originally set things up for insemination between man and woman. We also have in vitro fertilization. There are many options for women who cannot bear children today. One of the most ignored options is the beautiful option of adoption. I really don't understand the whole concept or purpose of cloning. I can understand it for maybe trying to clone organs to save people's lives, but to try to create a child from cells matching an individual without the natural force of two people coming together or all the other options available that make childbirth and parenting intimate, you're going to end up mass producing.
I'm very, very pleased to announce that the first baby clone is born. She was born yesterday at 11:55 a.m. in the country where she was born. So this will not give you more details about the location. She's fine. We call her Eve.
I think cloning humans is inherently a bad idea for sort of, if I may, evolutionary biological reasons. And that is that if you clone yourself, if this were successful, this kid, this baby, would not be the combination of two people's genes. And so this kid would be inherently falling one genetic step behind, if you will, everybody else in kindergarten. Everybody else would be a result of a mixture of genes. A clone would be the result of a single set of genes.
Glenn McGee is director of the Center for Bioethics at the University of Pennsylvania and the author of the Human Cloning Debate and Generation Genome. Dr. McGee was with the FDA 2 years ago when it shut down a Clonaid lab in West Virginia. He joins us now from Philadelphia. Doctor, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
First of all, why did you shut that lab down in West Virginia?
Well, I wasn't responsible for the decision, but the real issue is one that has plagued not only Brigitte Boisselier, but Clonaid since the beginning of this effort, and that was false promises. $200,000 were taken from a city councilman in West Virginia to bring back his dead son, and Clonaid had set up a lab with Brigitte Boisselier at its head above a daycare center in West Virginia. And when the FDA investigated, what we found was a lab that was roughly at the high school level. And indeed, that issue is with us again today. If it's possible that Brigitte Boisselier and unknown scientists, unknown obstetricians and others in an unknown country were able to successfully give birth to Eve without the kind of hundreds and hundreds of mistakes that we saw, mistakes and medical problems that we saw with the birth of Dolly and other cloned animals, then I think that suggests that we may be entering a new world in which just about anyone can make a clone, although I myself very much doubt that she has succeeded in this effort.
People have been talking about defects for this reason without checking what we know about in IVF of human people. And we have experience, we have 24 years of experience on assisted reproduction of human, and we benefited from that. So we benefited from a lot of work that has been done on cow cloning, of course, because my expert, the one technician who did the embryos, actually have been doing more than 3,000 cow embryos before touching any human eggs.
Disagree with him. I think this Rael is simply a victim of his own delusions. I read an article in the Science that for 400 years people have had these dreams. They went off into space, used to be with witches on broomsticks, and there were consistencies in their story. He called it sleep paralysis, that these people actually believe these things exist. So I think Rael could really believe the nonsense that he's preaching, and it's really a reinterpretation of a lot of old Bible stories. That's something that's lost in the mix here. People don't realize that the Raelians really are a religion, and they're a valid religion, and cloning is almost like central and a sacrament to religion. And when the Koreans start kicking in the doors and the FDA starts hounding them, they're violating Raelians' right to religious practice and belief. And that is never...
Two different things. There's a Raelian movement, which is a religious organization throughout the world with 55,000
And he said that, he said it. But the reward for the good life. I've read Rael's book. I've gone to Montreal. I know the Raelian people. They're beautiful, loving people. On the home planet, according to Rael's book, cloning is a reward for the good life. So cloning is very central to your religion. And even though I don't agree with your viewpoints and I don't share your religion, I respect your right to practice your religion. And when you say you're going to challenge the laws that outlaw cloning as a violation of your religious beliefs, even though I think you're exploiting this cause, I stand with you in the fight for religious freedom.
That's one thing. That's apples. Let's talk about it. I'm confused here because you say you are for cloning.
Absolutely.
You are
it's a
for
reproductive
cloning,
right.
Just not the way they're doing it, and you don't believe they have made of it.
No, I'm for cloning. If you want to attempt cloning, you're an infertile couple. You understand you're not likely to succeed. You're willing to put your body at risk. You're a woman putting your body at risk, and you're willing to take the responsibility to raise this child, even if this child arrives with a disability or handicap, then I say I take the libertarian position. The Libertarian Party endorses this position. You have the right to do that. In consultation with your doctor, this is just like abortion. And the FDA or the government politicians have no business telling you how you can reproduce.
You're just saying they're not there yet.
They're not there. Certainly, this group is not there. This group is simply exploiting the issue.
Are we going to see? If they're not doing it, are we going to see it soon?
I predicted in U.S. News and World Report in the last year's issue that 2003 would be the year that cloning would occur. Dr. Antonori is already announced that he has 3 on the way, and I think that is quite possibly a very credible claim.
Interesting.
Fascinating. What's going to scare people most is when we will present that baby. That's what it's going to scare people most, and it's going to be a healthy and smiling baby. And that's what most people
You're never
really
going to present it because it doesn't exist.
It does.
Well, we're all holding our breath. We want it somewhere. You say a baby's coming from the Italian doctor.
Yes.
They say they have
possibly,
one.
Possibly.
Possibly?
Yes, he's the only possibility at the moment. There may be some infertile fertility doctor, 2,700 clinics in the world where this can be done, but people who know what they're doing, these people really don't know anything about fertility treatment or the science involved.
You don't know who are the scientists in Clonaid. You don't know the scientists.
We've had, in our team, we have some of the top advisors.
I was on your panel with your experts with Brigitte Boisselier. I spent days in Montreal. They didn't even understand stem cells when I was there. All they could talk about was downloading memory from one computer to another, which made no sense to me, frankly. I don't think I can put my mind in a computer and transfer it somewhere else.
You mix up things, the philosophy of, which in the long run, we say in the Rayleigh movement that cloning will lead to eternal life thanks to personality transfer. We're not there.
Yeah, but
That's
you
what
scare
we're not
people.
about.
That kind of talk about eternal life, you get people saying we've got to outlaw cloning. These crazy cultists are cloning people, and then the politicians outlaw the technology, which is the basis of therapeutic cloning that offers all kinds of marvelous enablers. Christopher Reeve to walk again, Michael J. Fox to return to normality.
Would be a shame.
That would be the great tragedy if these people cause.
Nothing can stop science. It will come, and it will be accepted by everybody.
We'll be right back.
Lessons aside, let's dance for a while. Heaven can wait, we're only watching the skies. Hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. Are you gonna drop the bomb or not? And let us stay young, let us live forever. We don't have the power, but we never say never. Sitting in a sandpit, life is short to the music's for the sad man. This race is won. Turn your golden faces into the sun. Praising all leaders again in tune. Music's played by a madman. Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever and ever. Forever young, I want to be forever. Forever, forever, forever young. Someone like water, someone like the heat. Some of the melody, some of the beat. Sooner or later, they all will be gone. Well, don't they stay young? It's hard to get old without a doubt. That other pair is like a fading horse. Youth's like diamonds in the sun, and diamonds are forever. So many adventures couldn't happen today. So many songs we forgot to play. So many dreams swinging out of the blue. We'll let them come true. Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you ever wanna live forever, forever and ever? Forever young, I wanna be forever young. Do you really wanna live forever?
Donald Marshall, are you there?
Forever young.
Donald. All right, let's get him.